So we asked Marty about growing the game through sort of non-traditional ideas, different ball sizes, court sizes. What's your perspective?
I think anything that gets kids on the court and having fun is something that we should look into. I'm a huge fan of the smaller courts, the softer balls. I think I see it with my kids that they just respond more to things where they're more successful at. So the yellow tennis ball bounces pretty high, and for a kid who's watching that ball bounce over their head, it can be pretty frustrating. So I definitely applaud all the efforts that the USTA and other groups have made to try and make the game more and more accessible for everyone.
Excellent. And you mentioned Bollettieri and the success you attribute to his academy. Obviously, that's the ultimate specialization of young people.
Yeah.
At what age did you decide tennis was my thing? And then give us some perspective about adults and parents making that decision for their children.
Yeah, well, I stopped playing other sports at the age of 13 and started to focus on tennis at that point. Tennis was a year-round sport. It still is. None of the other sports were at that time. So it was a pretty easy decision for me to make that move into tennis. I knew where I was ranked in the United States, so I had a pretty good feel for what my opportunities were in the sport. And for me, I'm very thankful that I played organized baseball for a lot of years, organized soccer, and a lot of pickup games as well, just around the neighborhood. But I think it's a very personal decision. I saw some of my other peers, like Pete Sampras and Michael Chang and Andre Agassi, play no other organized sports and still do wonderfully. So I don't think there's one specific way to do it. My experience is so profoundly positive that I certainly would encourage people to explore all the sports and activities that you're interested in. But I think at a certain age, at sort of 12, 13, 14, that's about time that if you do want to be very serious about a sport, you do need to specialize, because at a certain point, you need just hours and hours of repetition to build in those mechanics so you don't have to think about them anymore. And whatever that is, whether you're playing the violin or whether you're trying to be an artist or a musician or an athlete, at some point you do need to commit if you want to be really great at something. That doesn't mean you have to.